Good evening, good morning, no matter where in the world you might be. Welcome to another live edition of the Highbury Squad. It's a happier Monday than the Monday of the previous season. Here we roll. Mind the gap between the train and the platform. Please stand clear of the discussion doors. The next stop is Highbury Squad. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Highbury Squad, another live edition for you. For those listening on replay, welcome. For those of you listening on iTunes, Spotify, and Acast, thank you so much for joining us this fine Monday evening. Of course, once again, here with me is my podcast brother from another mother, Mr. Super Kev.
Squaddies, how you doing? I hope you're well. I hope you had a really good long weekend and you enjoyed some of those results. Anyway, at ease, Squaddies, at ease, and let's go.
Okay, we have a special guest joining us this evening. He should be here any second now, hence the background. Kev, what do you think of my backdrop this fine Monday?
I love it, Soph. I love it. Those were the times where the battle of London versus Manchester was on. And it was us against United. United had a great side. We had a great side. And it was out of the two of us who were going to win. And the battles and the two captains, you know, it was war, wasn't it? But it
Always.
was a great rivalry. Really was a great rivalry.
When it's similar to, you know, I guess when you were playing. So, you know, in the era of the Premier League and the inception of the Premier League. By the way, Kev, you know when the Premier League was created in 1992, I was a young person working at 20th Century Fox, and they got the DVD rights to the Premier League season review.
Yeah.
And if you do have a copy on DVD of the Premier League season review from 1992, I'm the one who wrote the copy at the back of the DVD.
Well, you see, now that is something I didn't know. So, you know what I mean? I didn't know that. But listen, it was a changing face of football, wasn't it? You know, the Premier League has changed football, changed how we watch football, changed the days we watch football. You know, we've gone through cheerleaders at one stage on a Monday night, if you remember that. We've gone through all sorts of different changes. You know, as I said, games Saturday, Sunday, Monday. But the coverage has been excellent. Not enough 3 o'clocks on a Saturday for fans. I get that sometimes.
Yeah.
But all in all, it's been good, definitely.
It makes me feel old too, Craig. I was desperate. I was trying to like prove myself at Fox because I wanted to be in the PR department, Kev. And finally they said, okay, write something for the back of this. You're the one here. It just so happened I was the one person that loved football as well, right? By the way, Flex is just rebooting his system. He'll be on in just a second. So I thought I'd fill in here a little bit. Yeah, I had a DVD. Dude, it was it was a VHS, but then it translated to DVD. So they let me write it because nobody else wanted to write it, and that was kind of like my little mini big break, Kev. But it's 30 years. Can you believe that nonsense?
I can. Listen, I get reminded of it every day. Let me tell you. I do. I get reminded of this every day. You know what, Soph? The years just fly by. They really do fly by.
Too fast. And I'm sure you see that with your boys playing as well now. All right, listen, we have him for half an hour. We're not going to waste any more time. He's a very brave man to come in to an Arsenal podcast the day after the result that he had. But we had arranged this a couple of weeks ago. I've loved talking to him on Sky Sports. We've gone at it, Arsenal v Man United. Mr. Flex from United Review TV, welcome to the squad. How you doing?
Hi, Flex.
Hey, how you doing, Kev?
I'm
How you
good,
doing,
mate.
Soph? Oh, that's good. I am basically I'm late because the laptop just knew that I was going on an Arsenal podcast and thought I might have to give you some gremlins in the system. What are you doing going on that after yesterday? So I had to convince it otherwise. But here now. So yeah, big up to you guys, man. Thanks
Well,
for having me.
we really appreciate it.
Appreciate
I've
you, mate.
loved our
Appreciate
duels
you.
on Sky
Yes.
Sports as well. And, both of our clubs, Flex, have been going through a major transition. Kev and I were just talking about 30 years of the Premier League. In those first few years, there's no doubt Arsenal and Manchester United helped galvanize the entire thing. It feels like you guys are kind of at where we were towards the end of the Wenger era, the end of the Emery era, and the beginning of the Arteta era, but maybe a little bit more broken.
Yeah,
What's your
definitely.
sense? What's your sense, mate, on what's happening?
My sense is I look at in social media, like it's like the social media derby, isn't it? Man United against Arsenal. There's a lot of content creators. We go back at it, and actually, there's more parallels than we think because we just get involved in, oh, you had a rubbish season, oh, you didn't achieve this, you didn't achieve that. When in reality, like we say, the fall from grace from both clubs has been meteoric. You look at the pictures back there. Look at that. When Kev used to play against both teams, he'll tell you, and obviously at Arsenal, he'll tell you. So the fall's been meteoric, but what I do see a lot of parallels. I'm not ashamed to admit that. I think that's difficult for Man United fans to, because a lot of Manchester United stuff is, oh, well, we're not Arsenal. Oh, we're not them. But essentially, we are. There's a lot of parallels, but we're not anymore. You guys are actually ahead of us, and I see us as sort of 3 to 4 years behind you guys. But when I look at Arsenal, I feel like there was what I like about what Arsenal have done is there was a point when they said, okay, stop. Let's stop what we're doing here. Edu, Arteta, is it Vishai? Is the other transfer guy?
Vinay, yeah.
Vinay, sorry.
Yeah.
Apologies, Vinay. Let's agree on a strategy of where we're going to go. Let's get Mikel Arteta his players. Let's get Edu the agreed targets. Let's not listen to any backlash or what anything happens. Let's do that. Let's sort out getting rid of the likes of Willian and David Luiz and Aubameyang and Lacazette, and let's phase all these guys out. Pablo Mari, it didn't work. All these types of players, Guendouzi. Let's take the hit on those and let's agree on a way to go. And that's, I think, what the biggest problem at Manchester United is that there's hope to see how you guys have done it, to then have a team before the beginning of the season that you're proud of and say, you know what, this should be an exciting season. But at Manchester United, we're still running in exactly the same incompetent way, making the same mistakes after the same mistakes. As of today, guys, and, laugh by all means, because we've been laughing at ourselves, we're linked to Marko Arnautovic. Like, well in
An older Arnautovic as well, not a young one, an older one.
Not the one that was a pain to play against at Stoke, not the one that was a pain to play against at the London Stadium at West Ham, the one that went off to China, the one that is now at Bologna, that Arnautovic, And if you're a Manchester United fan, you're thinking, well, hang on a minute. You can excuse one stopgap to get you by, i.e. Odion Ighalo. We were told that was a stopgap. We haven't really got what we need here. We need a bit of backup. Let's bring him in. Okay, cool. He goes. We're panicking a little bit. I know he's been a bit injured for the last 6 months, but we'll get Cavani. He's got good stock, but, it's a stopgap. All right, cool. We all got excited when Ronaldo came. Fine. I was on that train. But essentially, stopgap. It's a great stopgap because he's an amazing player, but it's a 2-year stopgap. You then don't get another forward, and then you go, Arnautovic. What on earth is the planning? So what in reference to your question is my thoughts are I'm very worried because at least Arsenal under Arteta still not quite there yet. And this is the season he has to deliver, of course. But you can look at your team before the league started and say, you know what? We've got a clear philosophy. You can now look at that team and it looks like a team that's in Arteta's image. Mm-hmm. It's a team that is progressive. It's a team that has last year they were the youngest team in the league. And that is very deliberate. Those are not things that happen by accident. That is meticulous planning and ignoring all the noises. We'll take the hit and everyone laughing at us for losing Aubameyang. We'll take the hit on losing Ozil. We'll take the hit on everyone laughing that 50 million is too much for Ben White. We'll take the hit on everyone laughing that 30 million is too much for Ramsdale. We'll take the hit on nobody even knowing who Tommy Asu was and Sky laughing, saying he's not even a right back. Who is this guy? We'll take the hit on all of the above because we believe and we agree that this is the strategy. We won't panic when it doesn't go right. And Manchester United do literally the opposite thus far.
Flex, I think not only is it the strategy, I think it's the recruitment was of players with character. I think that's really important, and that's something the fan in the stand or the fan on social media doesn't look at. The players who have come in have got character. They're happy to wear the badge, and they will fight. This is what United were built on, class of '92, because they were homegrown, and virtually every player that came in after that who Fergie brought in, whether it worked or not, would still fight, would still scrap. I just don't see that. Fair enough, you could admit they might not have some quality, but the fight, I just see them getting out battled against Brighton and stuff like that. Last season they're getting out battled. That's not Manchester United, and the Premier League for me is a much better place with a competitive Man United, with a competitive Arsenal. And we have fallen off of that train. Of course we have. We're starting to get ourselves together a little bit. But I think Manchester United's a bit different because you've done okay. You've finished second a couple of times. You know, you've been a little bit successful. But it seems as though you're kind of falling off the cliff and nobody's stopping it.
Nobody's stopping it. And the thing is that a lot of it, Kev, is like it's been masked with a lot of things. So take the year we finished second, for instance, right? You know, that was a season with almost an asterisk on it. And that was Liverpool who won the thing. You know, that was, you know, we had the best away record. No fans in there. You know, it's almost like playing down the park. It's literally behind closed doors. As soon as the fans came back,
reserve game.
As soon as the fans were back, the away record was gone instantly. I think we lost our first away game after that, actually, when the fans were back. But the characters, the profile of players, and then you bring in lack of decision. So, okay, Ollie would spend 85 million on Harry Maguire, 50 million on Wan-Bissaka. We now found our place in a position with a new manager who goes, Wan-Bissaka's not for me. You know, Tellez ain't for me. You know, Scott McTominay's not for me. Fred's not for me. You know, players that United's been built around. Dan James was bought under Ollie and sold under Ollie. You know what I mean? Like, even forget about him. He's at Leeds now. So it's like there's no long-term thinking to anything that Manchester United have done, and their inability to get deals done, identify a target, go for that target that fits the profile, hasn't been done. Now, the plus side is we now have a manager who has a clear philosophy in how he wants to play, very meticulous, very forward-thinking manager, very tactically astute manager, and we've backed him in the players that he wanted to a certain extent. We didn't want Tyrell Malacia as Manchester United Football Club. The manager's come in and said, I tell you what, that kid was good at Feyenoord. I wanted him when I was at Ajax. He's a good kid. He's about to go to Lyon. He's only going to cost 30 million euros. Get him. The club have now started backing the manager. Fine. We wanted Pau Torres as a centre-half. He said, no, I want Martinez. I just had him. He's my guy. He's Ajax player of the season. I believe he has the quality. The reason why we're still into for Frankie de Jong after all this time or after all this saga is because Erik ten Hag has said, I'll wait. I really want this guy. He's integral to what I want to do here at Manchester United. So we're backing the manager on that sense. And you look at Christian Eriksen, he's definitely a player who he knows well, a player who can fit into that system. No problem. Free transfer, no brainer. But essentially, we're in a position where we've allowed Ten Hag to get to the 7th of August, which was our first game yesterday. And we, out of the top 6, were the worst team who had the most to do. And yet we've done the least in the transfer window. We've spent the least. Arsenal have outspent us in the last 2 windows. Arsenal spent the most in this window. Like, because they're at it. Like, all that's been made of the Cronkies, and look, you guys will know way more than I do, but from the outside looking in, we share that common thing of the Cronkies and the owners. And, I see it all the time from Arsenal fans, and I sympathize. I really do, because we have the same thing. But what they have done is gone, right, we need to stop. Josh Kroenke and Stan Kroenke, whoever it is, has made the decision to go, we need to follow X. And Arteta's vision is this. Let's back this. And now they have, if it gets to the end of the window, sorry, the end of the season, and Arteta finishes 7th again or 6th again, cool. There's no more excuses. He's trying to build his team. He's built his team. That is his team now. But at least he's been given the tools and the backing to get to a point where he can say that. But we are miles off that. And listen, I can take losing a game. I'm not fuming at the fact we lost against Brighton. I actually aren't. I'm actually not. It's the fact of the lack of vision of the way out of the situation that worries me the most. I can take losing at home, new manager, new philosophy. Players tried to play in his way for 15 minutes, but they went 1-0 down. Then old habits crept in. They panicked. They're not there yet. He's only been there. That was only in all competitions, like his 7th game he's managed for us, and 6 of them were pre-season games. I get that. I can take that on any day. I can take losing the first 5 games, fine. But it's the lack of, now our answer to that is to go and sign Rabiot in the last year of his contract. Panic. Our answer to that is to then go and sign a 33-year-old Marko Arnautovic who hasn't been good since he was at Stoke. Like, it's laughable. It's laughable, guys. It really is.
So one of the things that we've been talking about a lot on this show, and our good friend Tom Canton from the Gooner Talk TV, we had this conversation with Kev about Ten Hag has been used to a system at Ajax. Everything in the backdrop, the foundation, everything is there for him to just be able to operate, from the academy to the players, everything. And one of the conversations we were having was he's so used to all of that, strength behind him, that going into Manchester United, it's not only broken on the pitch, it's broken off the pitch. And a little bit similarly with Mikel, we were broken on the pitch, we were broken off the pitch. Do you think that there's going to be patience for him? Because clearly the Cronkies bought into Arteta, like you said, and we're having patience with him. Do you think he's going to be given the same grace at your club?
He has to be, Sophie. He simply has to be. And one of my reservations when everybody wanted Ten Hag in the United fan base, I literally said that there. I said, okay, great. He's done well in the Eredivisie. You can tell he's a progressive manager. He's had great Champions League runs. That Champions League run that he had against Spurs, that was fantastic for a team of that ilk. And you look at where them players went and got sold and where they went on to. You had Ziyech, who's gone to Chelsea. You had De Ligt, who went to Juve, Bayern now. You had Donny van de Beek, who ended up at Man United, who was going to go to Real Madrid. You had Frenkie de Jong. He went. Many players. Davinson Sanchez ended up at Spurs. Fair enough, that was rubbish. But, you had players who disembarked from that squad and went on to bigger things in Europe. That's how good that squad was. But the patience has to be there, because if it's not, we're just going to find ourselves in this revolving circle again. And I've been saying a lot within the stuff that we've been doing, there is more pain to come. I think Arsenal is the perfect case study to look at it. You look at, like, I've seen the first 2 episodes of All or Nothing. I've seen the first 2. And when the hounds were out, when everybody was laughing at you because you hadn't scored a goal by the international break, 3 out of 3 losses. To be fair, at least Arsenal had the excuse of, we've had a lot of players out through COVID and a lot of our signings haven't actually arrived here yet. And I remember I watched an interview of Edu around that time when he said, look, judge us when our players get here. We've got players coming in. And he just calmed the ship down a little bit. That's another thing that Arsenal have done really well, in my opinion, is improve that line of communication through to the fans, the transparency. Seeing our CEO was caught down the pub with a bunch of angry Man United fans having a few beers saying, listen, mate, we're burning through cash. You look around Carrot and I can't see where the money's been spent. Then he goes on record and says, look, we do want Frenkie de Jong. The money's there. Whether it's 100 million, 2 million, 200 million, whatever the manager needs, it's there. Caught underhand underneath the park bench. That's what our CEO's been doing. Meanwhile, Edu's taken the time to say, do you know what? Let's sit down. Let's put something actually out there that the fans have as a reference point, something to hold me accountable for that's been planned out. Not a bunch of guys down the pub criticizing him. Now, look, the way he handled that situation actually was quite good, because he got a tip off that people were going to come to his family home. He said, look, he could have just called the police, but he said, look, I'll come down there. I'll meet you. I get it. But it's a mess. It's a mess. And that's what I mean. The line through to the fans is wrong. And also, we now find ourselves in a situation where we're not clear on the direction. We've had big changes. Matt Judge has left the football club. Ed Wood was left the football club. That looked like the signs of change. Then you're hoping that the new guys in John Murtough and Richard Arnold can come in and change the way we do things. And I allowed them that grace. When people were panicking in July, when we hadn't signed anyone, I said, listen, guys, got a new regime there. Let them work. Let them work. Let's see what we do. We signed 3 players in July. Okay, fine. So we didn't sign anyone in June. We signed 3 players in July. Fine, but we still need more. Now I'm like, wow, I'm the one who looks like the idiot for giving these guys time, because now look, but we still have to wait. But the manager needs time. We've got to battle down the hatches. The media is going to come. The memes are going to come. It's going to get hard. It will get hard. And that's what I mean. I look at Arsenal, back to them first 2 episodes of All Nothing documentary. It's people outside Old Trafford, people outside the Emirates saying, he's got to go now. Get Arteta out. I don't care. Get him out. The question is, would you be in a better or worse position if you'd have sacked Arteta after them first 3 games of last season and listened to that? You'd be in a worse position, you know? So I don't know, man. Fans, we're emotionally invested into our clubs, aren't we? And we say we're going to do something. We say we're going to get behind the manager. And I said, even before he did it, I said, okay, we're saying we're going to get behind this manager. What happens is the first thing he comes in is says, Harry Maguire is still my captain. Are you not going to be all right with that? Because that's what he did. He literally, the first thing he did do was say, he's still my captain. Oh, that tests the resolves a little bit. Nobody wanted that, but that's what the manager wants. What are you going to do when you keep seeing Freddie McTominay there? I'll tell you what. What are you going to do now he wants Arnautovic? Do you know what I mean? So it's already in game 1, we're being tested as fans, and we just have to go through it, man, because it's going to be tough.
Flex, I think back to a couple of years ago, and it's probably three years ago, maybe longer, where, you know, Arsenal were the meme club. Our fans were fighting each other in the stand. You know what it was like, you know, AFTV and people doing podcasts were getting attacked and all this kind of thing. But as we're in a results business, you know, we start seeing that creeping in at Old Trafford. People, you know, forgetting about what's going on the pitch, and they're at each other's throats. Ten Hag deserves time, definitely. But we do know it's a results business. And you mentioned about you could take losing the first 5 games. Let me tell you something. You lose the first 3, like we did, there's going to be major. You know that there's going to be
the hounds will be out, Kev.
Yeah, there's going to be major problems. The only thing for me is, Flex, and I need to ask you this question: what's your top 3 wants and requirements for Manchester United and Ten Hag this season?
The biggest thing for me, I believe, is you have to lower expectation. There's this thing as fans, especially as 2 great clubs like Manchester United and Arsenal, that we're fixated on those guys behind you there, Sophie. Like, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Look at that. I mean, that just fills you with, you know, that is the antithesis of Manchester United and Arsenal.
Takes you back, doesn't it?
Yeah. In the era that I grew up in, you know, I'm 34, Kev. So that's my era. You know, you can probably go back a bit further than that as well. But I mean, you played in that era, you know, the attitude era of the Premier League, I like to call it, you know, top level. Everything Keane lacked that Vieira could do with a football, Keane made up for in literally every other aspect to actually be level with Vieira, you know, in terms of endeavor, in terms of fight. And he could play. You know, Keane gets labelled as someone who was just an ugly bully who goes around and kicks people.
He could play.
You know,
play, man.
Well, he could play. Do you know what I mean? He could play. But to answer your question, we have to lower expectations. Oh, there you go. Well, there you go. I mean, when you play the pictures back to back.
I had to put it up there because it's the juxtaposition to what you're talking about, right? And what we're talking about, because we went through a similar situation in our midfield. It's
where they're way off what you used to have. You know, Scholes and Beckham and list goes on. But some people think it's a bad thing to lower expectations, and depending on where you are, it can be. You know, to accept mediocrity and think that that's okay can be bad, but also to over expect something that just isn't going to happen is also a problem. You know, as the saying goes, the first start of making changes is admitting you have a problem. Yeah. So for me, I've accepted that 5th at a push is our ceiling this year. Like, that's if we perform to the best that we probably can, and all the other teams, go to the best that they probably can, 5th or 6th. If Arsenal and Chelsea and Spurs, if Arsenal and Spurs don't do what they're meant to do, which in my opinion is get in the top 4, then you might leave the door open. If Man United have sorted themselves out, you might get a little fight for 4th if it goes like how last year was. No one tipped Arsenal to get 4th. Spurs were rubbish. Man United were rubbish. Arsenal put a run together, and then you just missed out on it in the end. But ideally, I would say the most important thing for me is identifying a style of play under this manager. Even if we're losing games, even if we're drawing games, we're not holding on, or the fitness is fading in the last 10, 15, and the results kind of slip as a result of that. Am I seeing the same patterns? Am I seeing players buying in to a persistent philosophy? Because I think that's what we've seen with Arteta. I think I've seen that. Even when he's been a bit naive and maybe his changes haven't been there, or his starting lineup, or you might say this player is not quite good enough. I've always got a feeling of like, I can kind of see what he's trying to do, though. Do you know what I mean? At Manchester United, we have no identity. You don't know how that team's going to perform game in, game out. You literally flip a coin, whatever happens, happens. So we need to establish a style of play. That's the first thing, Kev. Second thing, what I want to see, decent cup run. Go deep into a cup. Obviously, try and win a cup would be amazing. And just raise the overall, perception of the football club and the standards of the football club. Just raise those. The rest will come. The rest will come. I think if any Manchester United fan is expecting us to get in the top 4 this year, I think you need to realign where you are, because you're going to be in for a hell of a long season if that's what you expect. Personally.
So what's interesting and why I was so fascinated about having this conversation is because the parallels really are glaring. I'd love your take, and I know Kev would too, on the Ronaldo situation. We had a very similar situation where we gave a massive contract and wages to Ozil, and the same thing happened with Aubameyang. And I think the bravery of, and I've been very critical of Mikel Arteta, and I thought rightly so, because eighth, and then losing a Europa League semi-final to the man who replaced you, that's unacceptable.
Exactly.
It's not great, is it, Flex?
Yeah, it's not.
And then as we move forward, though, he's been given the backing, which is lacking at United now, but hopefully, your new manager will get that, to make the decisions. Ozil, Emery tried to get rid of him. He wasn't happy with him. He ruled the dressing room, didn't want that. Aubameyang and the situation with Mikel Arteta, which we'll see how that unfolds on All or Nothing. Now you're finding, but he made a stance. He put his foot down. This is my team. I'm going to build it in my image. What is your take on Ronaldo, which is, I think, a lot tougher considering he's the greatest goal scorer of all time. He's an absolute legend. He probably saved you last season with his goals.
From further embarrassment, absolutely did. Absolutely.
So how do you deal with that situation? What's your take? What would you like to see happen there?
It's a real saga, right? Because you can't forget what he done last season in an awful Manchester United team. I don't actually blame Ronaldo for wanting to leave. I can get my head around that. Emotion, again, we have to separate the emotion from the reality. And the reality is that a player like Cristiano Ronaldo, albeit he has amazing ties to Manchester United, amazing history with the football club, Cristiano Ronaldo always puts Cristiano Ronaldo first. That's the first thing we have to remember as fans. He nearly ended up at City. Do you know what I mean? And we came in and we sorted it and we got him. The problem for me is that we have to separate. On one hand, if Ronaldo leaves, how on earth do you replace the goals that he gave us last season? How on earth? And when Ten Hag first walked through the door, although people said he was the problem and he was this and that, my thing on Ronaldo was Ten Hag needs to keep him, because he needs, in an absolute fractious squad at Manchester United with so many problems to fix, as a manager, he needs to have some constants. And the only constants that Manchester United can offer up is a goal scorer in Ronaldo and a shot stopper in David De Gea. They're the only two reliable performers. And even with the way that Ten Hag wants to play, David De Gea is now going to come into question because he needs to be better with his feet now. He needs to command his area. But those are things that you could probably deal with while I sort central midfield, while I sort the wing positions, while I sort fullback, while I sort centre-back, whilst I sort every other position on the pitch. I'll keep Ronaldo and I keep De Gea. I can rely on them. For me, it all changed as soon as Ronaldo says he wants to leave. For me, Ronaldo, in my opinion, and I know it's rich coming from the back end of the result of what happened yesterday, you know, having to play without Ronaldo, what on earth will we do? I get it. Can't rely on Martial. But think of the impact that a Ronaldo has who's been kept against his will, really, because the club's saying, you're not for sale. We're not entertaining it. A Ronaldo that actually has had a lack of suitors. You know, Bayern Munich have lost, arguably, depending on who you speak to, whether it's Benzema, whether it's Kane, whether it's Lewandowski. They've lost the best striker in the world in Lewandowski. And they said, Oliver Kahn said, amazing player, achieved amazing things, doesn't fit with our philosophy. Don't want him. Offered to Chelsea, just had an absolute mare with Lukaku. Absolute £100 million mare. Crying out for a striker. Had a look at it. I see what's going on at Man United. If it goes wrong here in a year, that's going to be me having to deal with that. Because Ronaldo's in his twilight years. He just wants to go where he can play at the highest level and not get a guarantee of winning stuff, but
and try and be successful.
And try and win things. He doesn't care where. He doesn't care where at this stage. So for me, I think we should let him go. But the only problem with saying that now in this situation is, what does Man United look like without that quality now? You've got a Martial who is hot and cold, done really well on the tour, hamstring gone. You know, you've got a Rashford who back to goal as a number 9, not it. We're now linked to Arnautovic. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, if you do let him go, we're even worse. So, and Ten Hag saying he wants to keep him and is looking forward to it. So I just think there's this thing that Ten Hag wants him because he's like, that's such a conundrum to fix right now. If I could just get him to buy in and get this team functioning, I know I can get him scoring. I know I can. He believes in his own ability to do that. It will come at the detriment of other players not being as good. It will come at the detriment of other players feeling like they can't be themselves in the dressing room because it's Ronaldo. Harry Maguire cannot on any, you know what it goes like, Kevin, in football hierarchies. And
the hierarchy.
It happens in all dressing rooms. I've seen it even on the pitch. Ronaldo's walking over to Harry Maguire saying, listen, over there. Then I've seen Harry Maguire go, okay, cheers, Cristiano. I'll go over and have a jog now and have a word with the ref. He's in control of everything. Whether it's right or it's wrong, someone of that stature,
he's earned it.
Nobody can tell him anything, which at one sense, it's a good thing because it drives the standard through the dressing rooms. You know, Ronaldo's almost looked at like the odd one out because his standards are high. The other way around, when Ronaldo used to be at Manchester United with the likes of Keane, with the likes of Neville, with the likes of Giggs and other players like that, and Rooney, if you had a rubbish mentality, you're the odd one out. Get out. Do you know what I mean? So he's looking around and can't understand this. So that's a good thing. But on the other side, it's a bad thing because it can stop development of the other players. When you're on the ball, subconsciously, I need to find Ronaldo. He's going to bollock me. I've got to find him. It changes the way you play. You know, Benzema had to fall back for years because Ronaldo was there. Dybala had to fall back when he got to Juventus. Somebody's game must suffer because Ronaldo's that good. It's just how it goes. Bruno Fernandez's game is gone now since he's come. You know, that's just how it goes. So I personally want to see a scenario where he leaves, but I don't trust this football club to A, allow that to happen, and B, have a couple of replacements lined up so we're not too light. So again, it's playing on my emotional strings as a fan because now I'm left in a position where I'm like, right, I have to now keep the guy who doesn't want to be here because we're linked with Arnautovic otherwise. Arnautovic. Oh my, just laughable.
Flex, do you know what? Listening to you, you sound like how we sounded
Totally.
a
Carbon
few years
copy,
ago.
Kev.
Yeah, it is a carbon copy. You know, for me personally, I think Ronaldo has earned his position. I thought he got brought to the club because he was going to up the ante, and they said to him they were going to make the necessary decisions in the transfer market to lift the squad. Anytime a player like Cristiano Ronaldo comes out and says, I want to leave Manchester United, something tells me he's been lied to, or what they said to him was going to happen hasn't happened. So
one thing I do think is, though, I'll be honest, and this is where I got a little bit annoyed at Ronaldo, is how he's handled the situation. So he wasn't on tour because of personal reasons. As soon as someone mentions their family, especially with the year he had losing a child, 100%. You stay away from that. You respect that. Some people could raise the eyebrows and go, oh, yeah, just before tour, all family issues. But me personally, I'm not the type of, you know, content creator that likes to jump on things when you don't know the facts. It's just not my style. So I can give him that grace. But what I will go off is the facts. And the facts are, once we returned from that, he said nothing, all on social media, just kept his mouth quiet. So that shows to me probably dealing with your family issues, etc., etc. But then when the sporting links came out, it was linked to Sporting Lisbon. He went on his Instagram, put fake news. He hadn't responded to any rumors with Chelsea or Bayern Munich, all these other teams, but you want to go on your Instagram and put fake news there. And then he put out a bigger statement saying there's loads of lies in the media. If they don't speak about me, they don't make money. So, you know, keep my name in your mouth. Something, you know, along them lines, having a rant back at the media. Hang on a minute, Cristiano. Are you trying to throw cold water over these flames? Or are you putting coal on there? Which one are you doing? Because you're not helping the situation by coming out and, you know, saying no to some rumors and saying nothing to others. You're not saying anything by acting like, oh, why is everybody talking about me? You know, you're not coming out and saying I'm 100% committed. It's all lies. Looking forward to getting back fit. You're not saying that. So what are you saying? So for me, that's where I was really disappointed. That's when I was like, this is becoming an issue. Then you get his first day back at training. George Mendes' agent's in the car. Now, Kev, you've played at the highest level. You don't bring your agent to training to get the balls and cones out for you when you're doing your free kicks. You know, fizz me a ball in, George. Keep trying. Your agent comes with you. Do you know what I mean?
I'll train you. Speak to the manager.
Do you know what I mean? You know, it's like parents' evening, isn't it? You don't go to school with your parents. There's only one day you go to school with your parents. And that's when they need to speak to the teachers and work out what's going on. It's that time. You don't come on a normal day to school.
True.
So don't make out like nothing's going on when it is. That's my issue. You're trying to angle for a move. Okay, cool. But don't act like nothing's going on. And that annoyed me. That really annoyed me.
Also, he's very clever, isn't he? How he utilizes his social media. A lot of players are. You know, it almost felt like the association with Sporting Lisbon, and I say this with respect, but was beneath him in regards.
That I'm not going to shut down Chelsea because they're good. I'm not going to shut down Bayern Munich because I wouldn't mind going there. I'm not going to shut down PSG. You know what I mean? I'm not going to shut down all of these other options. Sporting, that's my hometown club, but I'm not ready to get the cigars out.
I've done that.
Cuban shirts out.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? Yeah. And like maybe I'll do that as the last hurrah. Don't disgrace me. Zlatan's 40 and is still playing, so I'm going to at least 41. You know what Ronaldo's like. He's going to keep going and going and going. So for me, that was a real... Then you get the thing of, you know, he left early and other players did leave early. But for me, you're in a match day squad. I sat next to them players who weren't in the match day squad who left. Ten Hag has now come out and said, cool, fair enough. They all shouldn't have left. But for me, I think it's a bit of a cover-up to kind of put them all in one box so it isn't just on Ronaldo. Then he went in on Simon Pete's journalist the other day saying, you know, stop just talking about Ronaldo. It was all of them. Do your research. And they're trying to keep Ronaldo out the spotlight. They want him to stay. But I don't know. It's a mess. It's a mess.
I think you need him to stay, Flex. United need him to stay because
I think we do now.
I don't see where the goals come from.
Not with Ronaldo. No,
time.
That shows me everything.
You know, in your squad, you need Ronaldo. Definitely.
So, Flex, I know you have to go off and do another recording. Do you have a few more minutes to just...
Yeah, that's fine. I'll put that one on hold because I was a little bit late.
Okay, all right, fantastic. So I've got a couple questions from our squaddies, by the way. Lone Star says, is it time to accept that this version of United is realistically a top 8 team? Because we've been here, so they're interested in what the juxtaposition angle, of course, with where we were and where you guys are at. Are you a top 8 team? You said 5th at best, maybe.
Yeah, 5th at best, and you know you'd be naive to rule out and disregard the likes of a Newcastle, you know, who could gate crash that top. Look what West Ham did last year. They just wouldn't go away right until the end. It's that annoying, you know, that little fly. You're just trying to bat away. They just won't go infiltrate. Usually it's Leicester. They fell off last year, looking like they're in a bit of trouble this year as well, not signing anyone. But you'd be naive to think that, you know, that's secured. I mean, don't get me wrong. You got to back the manager, yes. But it's like Kev said, it's still Manchester United. He doesn't get to finish 13th, and that's okay. And we just go, it's fine. You know, so, but yes, to answer the question, of course it could happen.
So this question is coming. But by the way, Danny D's a Spurs fan. We have Spurs
Big
fans that
up,
listen
Danny.
to the show, Flex.
Love that. That's
No,
good,
don't
isn't
big
it?
him up.
That's good.
Don't. He causes
Oh.
trouble. But we're asking this
Oh, right,
question
okay.
because a lot of us. No, I'm
It's a
joking.
nice
but
display picture as well. He's looking all smart and stuff. It's proper. Big up, Danny.
He has to dress smart on here, mate.
we love that we have Spurs fans that listen to an Arsenal show. But it's a question that a few Arsenal fans wanted to know too, because of course there were some Gunners fans that wanted Conte at our club as well. Flex.
Yes.
Was that a boat that you missed? Or
one of the biggest decisions, one of the biggest things that happens, turning points of last season, was when we smashed Spurs 3-0 in Nuno's last game. Because that was the catalyst. That was the final nail in Nuno's coffin, and he got sacked. If we would have lost in that time, there was a high chance Oli would have. There was massive pressure on us going into that game. I think we just got beat off. Was it Liverpool or was it City? One of the embarrassing things, or it could have been Leicester 4-1 after the international break. One of the embarrassing situations had happened to us as well. And then what Oli did coming in off the international break, I remember we went like 5 at the back in that game, battled down the hatches, went with Ronaldo and Cavani up front. He really compact. And we smashed them that day because Spurs were awful. But Spurs won that day. Spurs won that day because what happened is they got Conte. You know, they finished the season strong. They got top 4. As a catalyst and domino effect from that, they then get money to spend. They spend it well, it looks like, and they're in a good position this season. They won the battle of the managers that day. Then we kicked on with Oli a few more games. We end up at Watford 4-0, 4-1, get sacked. Dire straits, Rangnick, interim, rub it. Like, didn't have a plan. Did not have a plan. So I wanted Conte 1,000,000%. I just believe that the club didn't have the stomach for it. They don't want a character like that. I think they've got burnt from Jose Mourinho because those types of managers, when it ain't going right, they let you know. They conduct themselves in a way. You know, I remember when you could say it was camera play or whatever, but when Burnley beat Spurs 3-0 or whatever it was at Turf Moor, they beat them anyway.
1-0 when they
Was it
went
1-0?
and beat
Sorry.
City and then they lost 1-0.
That was it.
Yeah.
1-0, sorry. They lost 1-0, but it felt like it was 3-0 the way Conte was going on. Because after that interview he did, this is not for me. You know, they need to look at my position. I don't accept this. This isn't me. You know, they need to think about what they want to do here. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa. Do you know what I mean? Man United just didn't want that smoke. He's too fiery a character. He'll be marching down the corridors, banging down the CEO's door, saying, get me this, get me that. He'll be in the press conferences. You know what I mean?
Talking it. He'd be talking it.
Yeah. They just didn't want it, which is a problem at the football club because it's someone who has standards. So I definitely would have taken Antonio Conte. But I'm very happy with Ten Hag. Very happy with Ten Hag.
So one of the things that's come in is that a lot of people saying you have a lot of overrated players, Maguire and Rashford being the two that, you know, are being mentioned a lot. You know, we've had that too, players that just continue to play and get picked because maybe there's no other options. Rashford was one of the players rumored to be linked with us, of course. That was never going to happen.
I knew that was never going to happen, yeah.
Yeah, never going to happen. And, you know, Kev always says too, like, it's the players. Like, we have this argument a lot on the show. And LA Galaxy got thrashed at the weekend. It was humiliating. And I asked the goalkeeper, because I said, Kev and I always argue about the manager has to be culpable at some point. You can't keep doing the same thing over and over again and not expect different results. Do you put this all on the players? Is Maguire that bad? Is Rashford that bad? Are they being misguided? Is it the players? What do you think of people that are asking about some of your players? Even Bruno Fernandes, as some would say.
Yeah, as it says on FIFA.
Yeah. Who, by the way, is loathsome if you do not support Manchester United.
100%. He's a player that you really won't like. He's like, you know, he's how I view a Richarlison. Like, if you're playing against him, he's just it's horrible. But if he's yours, he's yours.
You love
know
him.
what I mean?
You love him.
Yeah, he's one of them. It's a bit of both, to be honest with you. I think we've, as a fan base, gassed up a lot of our players to better than what they are. I do believe that. But at the same time, Manchester United has not been a stable institution for so long. Everybody who walks through that door fails. Everybody. Eventually. You know? All the signings that walk through the door might start well, but then they get infected with this It's Man United thing. And they all of a sudden become rubbish players. Just on Rashford quickly, I think he's a player who has a lot of ability, but I just don't see. I've never been. I love Rashford to bits, but I've never had him on this upper echelon. I've never seen it. I look at Marcus Rashford now, and I almost think he's the same player from 3 years ago. He hasn't kicked on. You know, he still looks raw. He still looks like he's unsure in the decisive moments. He still looks like he doesn't understand his position properly. Now, some of that is mismanagement and different styles of play. I get that. But some of it is that he's just not as good as some people think. He just isn't. You know, his fundamentals there. I saw Danny Welbeck yesterday running the line. Why? One, because he's fit. But two, his understanding of the game is way better than Marcus Rashford's. And, you know, he's not the name brand player. He's always the one who gets, you know, mocked and, you know, laughed at a little bit. Oh, you're the next Danny Welbeck, or you're the next this. And, you know, when people like to diss players sometimes, you know, Danny Welbeck's biggest, you know, problem is probably his fitness and his availability, and then probably his finishing after that. But other than that, he's a very good player. We just saw it yesterday. But then I look at someone like Rashford, who, look, leave what he's done off the field. Unbelievable. Shouldn't even be mentioned in the same scope as football. You know, they're two different things. But I just see a player that just hasn't kicked on and is struggling to, like, he's gone through the worst I've ever seen him last year. Felt really sorry for him last year. I'm not skewing his performances, but it got to a point where I was like, just send him on holiday early. There's no point in keep playing him in this. Like, he's just, you know, a player just comes on, Kevin, they just don't want the ball. They're shying away from it. You can feel the confidence zapped out of him. But he has still got ability, and he's still a better player than what we're seeing. Harry Maguire, another one. For me personally, just not up to the level. Just not up to it. The worst thing that ever happened to Harry Maguire was becoming Manchester United captain. That's on Ollie, that is. I feel like it would have been a little bit better if maybe he could just focus on his own game and be one of many moving parts. But the fact that you've put him, you know, look at the guy behind you. You're basically saying that you want Harry Maguire to have the impact on a team that a Roy Keane can, that a Wayne Rooney can, that an Eric Cantona can. You know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? That a Brian Robson can. And it's like, I know you can't compare eras, and that's a bit harsh to Harry Maguire, but you're at Manchester United now, son.
You wear the
and
armband,
especially when you get given the armband,
you're
changes everything.
Compared. Yeah,
it changes everything. It's all right if you're just a player, one of many, you can fit in. You might be remembered as someone who came in and had a bad time. You are on that very few short list of Manchester United captains, not just getting it by default because someone was injured. You are club captain, and it's swallowed him up. It's swallowed him up. It really has. And then you couple that with Ronaldo in there, he's got no chance.
Kev, are you disappointed in Sancho? Because he was a player that we kind of fancied at our club as well. And Flex, it's come up a lot in the chat. By the way, almost 700 of you in live chat right now. Hit like the button. Don't piss Kev off. He wants at least over half. Don't upset the legend.
Be a minimum half. We got Flex on as well. We got to be
Flex on.
And this is a great show. Am I disappointed in Sancho? Do you know what? I know there's more to come from Jadon. I definitely know that because I've known him since he was a kid. But he's come into a dysfunctional team. He's come into Manchester United, who Flex mentioned Ralph Rangnick coming in. Ralph Rangnick is a manager who likes a system. He likes to stick to the basics. You see, Manchester United couldn't do the basics. Manchester United's game has always been counter-attack. Flair and counter-attack. You have the good players in the good positions, and you have your flair players at the top end of the pitch. We can absorb, and then when we cut loose, we can score at a high rate. 1, 2, 3, 4. Manchester United are not the same. They are not the same team. And unfortunately, Jadon's had to come in. He hasn't. 1 minute he's playing with this one, next minute he's playing with that one. There's no continuity. So I get it. And I'm sure himself would say, I can do better. But you know what? I think he needs a settled team. He needs a settled striker to play with. a settled team, and then you probably see the best of him.
Sancho's got a big problem, right? And what Sancho's problem for me is one of two things. One is the perception of the winger that he is versus the winger that he isn't. That's the first thing, the profile that Jadon actually is. And the second thing is what you said there, Kev, is the system of which he's playing in. So when I look at Sancho, right, there's a misconception, having watched him closely now, I've seen him every game since he's been here, up close. There's a misconception that he's, you know, really quick, really powerful runner, you know, can get past people really easily. It's not actually his game. His game is having the ball at feet, being in a system that allows him to bounce passes off players, come inside, play little wall passes, little
deceptive, be
100%.
Yeah.
Because when I look at the likes of Saka, Son, Diaz, who else? Mane when he was here,
Salah, they use power,
Salah,
pace,
Kulusevski. If they stop the ball dead from 0 to 10, 15 yards, they're gone. They're gone. Sancho doesn't actually have that thrust. He's not actually very quick across the ground at beating a man. What he's very good at is if you're backpedaling because the transition's been fast because the team's set up right, and you're backpedaling towards your own goal, he can give you a quick little jink. You're going to go the wrong way. He's got quick feet, but he doesn't have quick and strong leg power. Do you know what I mean? To actually get past people. And if I look at the best wingers in this league, you need that in your armory. Or you need a system that is like Dortmund's. You need a system that is like Manchester City's, where there are so many options for you to play with, and so many players on your level of football IQ that you can play your game. Sancho needs that environment. And I actually do worry for Sancho that if the longer it takes for our system to be in place, he's going to keep looking like he's average for me, because I looked at it yesterday and it was it Solly March or was it Veltman? One of them. I think it was Veltman. In 1-1, when the game become a bit fractured and we'd abandoned our principles how to play because we're panicking. We're 2-0 down. Now it's throw everything at it. It's back to the old Man United. Give it to a winger, see if we can beat him.
Honestly, when I heard his name mentioned towards the end of the first half, I'm not joking. I was like,
oh, wow,
is he playing?
100%.
So I'm trying. So this is what I want Arsenal fans. The reason we're talking to Flex tonight, it's a Monday Madness meets football frenemies. Our clubs have been in glorious positions and both have fallen from grace from those glorious positions. We'll get Flex out on these bits, Kev.
Mm-hmm.
Who's going to, I mean, when you see Haaland play for City yesterday, I mean, we're all jelly of City. We all want their success, of course. Do Tottenham finish above Arsenal? Do Arsenal finish above Tottenham? Do we finish in the top 4? Are we going to be... What's your take on the Gunners this season from what you're seeing? And how do you think that top 4 is going to shape out?
Was that to me or was that to Kev?
No, to you.
Oh,
I know
I've
it's
answered.
I was going to say, what's my take on Arsenal? Will they finish above Spurs?
We love the outsider-insider perspective.
Yes, absolutely.
How do people see our club?
I see Arsenal as an exciting prospect this season. I think the signing of Gabriel Jesus was huge, massively needed. He's looked brilliant. I think the signing of Zinchenko was very good. If you couldn't get Martinez, similar type of utility player, can play a range of different positions. You could argue that he could be better than Martinez because he already knows the leagues and is a proven winner in this league. You could already put that argument straight away. And then I look at Saliba as well. I mean, you've been crying out for him to actually get an opportunity, and my God, does he look good. So I see them as an exciting team. I finally look at that team as an outsider looking in and say, like I said at the top of this show, this is now a team that is in Mikel Arteta's image. And as a rival fan, I'm saying no excuses now, Mikel. Of course, there's no God-given right to get into the top 4 because it's difficult. You know, people are laughing at Chelsea now saying they need this and need that. They've definitely not Gouda. They've signed Koulibaly and Sterling, 2 really good players. And Chelsea, being Chelsea, can easily turn an average window into a very good window in 20 days or so. Do you know what I mean? So we shouldn't write them out, even though they flattered to deceive against Everton. But I see it as Arteta cannot fail this year, like fail miserably. He's got to get him in the Champions League though. And I know that sounds a bit hypocritical because I said there's no God-given right, but I just look at it. That'll be his 4th year. Am I correct in saying that?
This is his
third full year,
It's his
but 4th year.
second full year,
It's his second full year, is it?
and it's 3 years.
Right, is it? I thought he had 3 full years. Oh, okay,
Yeah.
right, okay.
Third year.
So it's his 3rd year, and he went 8th, 5th,
5th.
and now
Won an
he's got
FA
the
Cup.
squad. Won an FA Cup in his the first half of the season, which was really good start.
Which I say with Emery's sloppy seconds, but
Yes,
Arsenal fans
100%.
don't like me for that.
He did the business. He did the business. You can't take that
won
away
it.
from him. 100%. And he has to deliver some goods. He does have to deliver some goods. I fear that if he doesn't, I think Arsenal are within their rights to say, well, you've had a fair crack at the whip. I think, if you give him this whole season, go again in January, even sprinkle some more. This window's not even finished yet. He's still very aggressive in saying we're open for more and we're looking. So, the window's not done for you yet. I just feel like the pressure's on. You finally got a team you can be proud of, and you finally got some good individuals and some good characters. And you finally have a good team. I look at Arsenal and I think they can hurt you. They can. Do you know what I mean? They you don't want Saka running at you. You don't want Jesus doing that. You don't want him running at you. If you can keep Partey fit, he's a great player. You look at how Ramsdale's settled in. You look at Saliba, Gabriel, Ben White, Tomiyasu. You've got competition now at left back. Kieran Tierney's looking over his shoulder thinking, am I even going to play now? Do you know what I mean? So as an Arsenal fan, I think you should be confident, skeptical, because, I get it. Some people still say, when Arsenal have been at their worst is when the expectancy level is actually on them. That's the next question mark. Last season, most fans, I don't know how you guys felt, but most fans were saying, Arsenal, at best 6, we ain't got this, we ain't got that. And it turned out you were just within a whisker of getting top 4. It changed as the season went on. Now the expectancy's on. So how are you going to deal with that pressure? How are you going to deal with being back in Europe and having more games? So there's a lot of question marks over a young squad still. Not going to be perfect, not going to get it right all the time. But there's definitely optimism from the outside looking into me.
How does the top 4 look to you?
The top 4 goes City.
So brutal for a Man United fan.
Horrible. Always them 2 in the top 2, I've seen some people, saying, Spurs have had a really good window. They can finish above Liverpool. I just don't. I think we need to relax with that. I think you guys would agree as Arsenal fans. You've got to relax with that. There's been no evidence. The only 2 people who can keep pace at that level is them 2, putting up 90 points plus, putting, 15 wins in a row together, things like that. Unbelievable. Chelsea were in the title race for a little bit around December, lost a couple of games. That was it. Never saw them again. So I think it goes City, Liverpool.
Yeah, this is where it gets a little tricky, isn't it?
Mate.
It's hard, isn't it? It is hard.
I'm not. Do you know what? I'm not writing off Chelsea. I feel uncomfortable doing that. As it stands, yes, but you can't sleep at Chelsea.
Yeah, but we can only talk about now, Flex. We can't talk about.
All right, as of today, Monday the 8th.
Yeah, we've got to talk about today because we know Chelsea can go bang, bang, bang. As you said, 20 days, they've got a whole new forward line. We know that.
Okay,
but
all right. So as of now,
today,
as of now, Chelsea look way off it. Then that's fair to say. Arsenal look at it. Spurs look at it. So I think
he's going to go there. He's going to go there. Yeah.
I think Spurs will finish 3rd, and Arsenal will finish 4th. But but that will be mighty close. Mighty close. That's what I think. And then Man United, if Chelsea finish 5th, we might have to take 6th or whatever. But we're just a floating spare part. Whoever messes up, we have to try and seize an opportunity. We're not in it. But yeah, I think, but like I said, I actually also think that, because look, guys, I know get out Flex says K Marlon, 4th or 3rd, same thing in it. You know what I mean? It's the same thing. You want to finish.
Yeah, if you're not, listen, that's what Kev, ask Super Kev. He hates this whole, tell him Kev, if you're not winning, it's just all bollocks.
It's the same
basically.
thing. Yeah, exactly. You just get the bragging rights, isn't it?
Yeah, of course it is.
So that's how I see it going.
That's fair.
All right, real yellow for Flex. Yeah, no, maybe we'll give him no, not on his first visit. All right, in a nutshell, real quick, because I know you got to go. Who wins the League Cup, FA Cup, Champions League, Europa League? Are you guys going to win Europa League? Do you remember when Mourinho said that finishing second with that United side, Kev,
He was
was one
right.
of his greatest achievements, and
yes.
everyone laughed at him?
Everybody
He was
laughed.
right, man. He was right, man. Us as fans, you know, we back players over Mourinho at that time as well. There's a lot of things we have to apologise for. That's hard, isn't it? When we come up against the best, we won't.
Kev thinks City might just do it this season.
Now Haaland's there. Yeah, I think it's right time.
And of course, we've backed ourselves to win Europa League because.
Have you?
Yes.
Why have you done that?
Why not?
Why have you done that? There's been no evidence to support this.
Hold on a minute. You know
to
what?
a final and a
back
semi.
ourselves.
Yeah, guys. You know what I mean, I've been friendly to a certain point here, but
go on.
Come on. You've got no.
All right, let's hear it then.
Just like Spurs got no. Just Arsenal and Europe.
Don't mention Spurs when it comes to trophies, please.
That's what I'm saying. Just like Spurs got no right entering the phrase for winning trophies or finishing above Liverpool, Arsenal shouldn't be in no contention to be winning any European trophies as well. Less domestic. All right, cool. You can say
finally delivered one, Kev.
Oh, here we go. You see,
finally delivered the dagger.
And he's throwing the haymaker.
because you know what it is. There's only like I will be objective and stuff, but we've got to support our teams. I can't. Come on, I'm not having that. There's got to be a cut-off point. I'm down and I'm down bad, but I ain't gonna have that. No. Neither of us two will win the Europa League. I'm gonna say. Arsenal won't win anything this season. They'll just get in the top 4. There's one.
Who invited him, Kev? Was that who invited him?
Listen, anyway, Flex, lovely for you to be coming on. Slit your root now, Flex.
It's
all right. So who's going to win it? Who's going to win it? Who's going to win the Europa then?
4. The 2 European and the 2 domestic trophies.
I think someone who drops down from the Champions League will win the Europa League.
Mm-hmm.
That's just I don't even know who that will be. That's just
you don't know that one.
Don't know that one. FA Cup.
Who's going to win the Champions League in your eyes?
Champions League. That I'm really uncomfortable with saying City are going to do it. It's not in their history.
Well, you just said it. All right, fair enough.
So they're not winning it. No, they're not going to win it. I'm going to say. No.
Real?
Again?
I picked them to win again.
I was going to say them. I can't. The Man City thing,
They've strengthened.
Man City and Liverpool make me sick. I can't. I'm just going to go Real Madrid. I'm on an Arsenal podcast talking about Man City and Liverpool. What are you trying to do? You're trying to run me. Talk about piling in the. You know what I mean? Nah. Got to put a stop to this. Real
FA Cup, and League
FA
Cup.
FA Cup.
Say it. Don't you
Man
dare.
United.
Okay, I can.
Man United, all right. Okay.
Going to back us to win one.
Cup
League Cup, Man City will get back to business because they'll be annoyed that they didn't win it again last year, like they always did.
Perfect. He didn't pick them lot down the road.
No, they're not winning anything.
Good.
Okay.
Good.
Well
we can agree on that. They're still Spurs.
Tell everyone where they can find you, Flex. And you know what?
Yes.
You've been gold. It's been absolutely brilliant conversation.
Top man.
Big up, man.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me. As soon as you shouted me saying, would I love to come on? The answer was yes straight away. So 100%. You can find me FlexUTD on Twitter and obviously United View on YouTube as well. And I'm sure when we play you in Game 6 of the Premier League calendar, I'm sure we will be speaking then.
I'm sure we will, Flex.
Trafford. Yeah,
lovely.
When we deal with you at Old Trafford, like we always do, even if we're rubbish.
Everyone's been waiting for the saltiness to come, Kev.
Yeah. Let it come at the end. Let it come at the end. Yeah, let it come at the end.
Your best season, we had our worst season. You're only one place above us, still in Europa League with us. You know what I mean? That's how it is. But hey,
there he is. There he is.
Nice one, guys. Thanks for having me, man.
Thanks, Flex. Take care, babe.
Take care, peace.
See you soon.
Bye.
Cheers.
What a great guest, Soph.
Yeah,
he's a great guest. He's a great guest. Definitely.
Absolutely brilliant stuff. Thanks to Flex for coming on. As he said, we love talking to opposing fans, Kev, and we love talking. The general idea of the conversation this evening was we've been there, and we're not saying that we're out of the mud at all. But
not at all.
To be able to kind of have that conversation with someone who knows and a fan who knows what it's like to be at the very top, to win. And he was really excited about talking to you as well. I think, you know, it's important for us to kind of maybe remind ourselves that we've been through that journey and we haven't come out the other side yet. But my goodness, Man United, I think they're more in the mud than we were.
I mean, do you know what, Soph? I want to ask us, the squaddies, how they felt listening to Flex. Did you feel it? You know, did you feel what he was going through? Did it take you back to how we were? I mean, it was like reading our script, wasn't it?
Totally.
Oh, it was terrible. And it's terrible.
Definitely. And it was good banter at the end. And he does talk sense and he's really good. He's just really smart and knows what he's talking about. He knows his football. By the way, 700 plus of you in live chat. The likes, Kev, are at...
How many? How many?
Let's get it. Tell us, guys. Tell us what the latest is. I have a surprise for Kev. It's a good surprise.
Don't. Tell me the likes first before you start surprising me.
All right, then. All right, let's get the likes. Oh, God.
What a great show over an hour. And if the likes are horrendous, that's not great.
No. You won't even close the show, will you, Kev?
Nope.
Come on. Great show. Yeah, all the compliments. We love it. But we want to know. And we don't have sympathy for United. We have 319.
We are way off.
We want 400?
So if there's 700 and what, 60 something? Call it
there
750.
Was 750. Yeah.
750.
Man United fans probably ducked out.
Yeah, we need 375 minimum.
Okay, 375. Harry, thanks. The channel's moving in the right direction. Well done. That's hilarious. 342 right now.
So we're
Newman.
moving. Come on, Newman. Keep us in the loop, Newman.
Newman, get those likes up and I'll show your art that you sent to me over the weekend.
Oh, God.
All right? If we get to 400, I'll show Newman's art.
Oh, no.
But until then, no, I won't show it. So get it to 400 if you want to see Newman's art. It's real easy to click. Kev, I've got a surprise for you because you know that you're Vinny's hero and he loves you to pieces. And we've got a special, everyone's saying bring Vinny out for the likes. But this is only going to be used for Thursdays. And I did want to show it tonight. Are you ready?
Ready. Hey. Got a bow tie on it. Oh, love it. Listen, if you're not going to hit the like button now, peeps, after that exclusive, come on. Wow.
I got one more if you want to get it to 500, everyone. But no, I know your eyes, everyone's eyes. Who's top of the league? Well done, Danny. I have one more as well for everyone before we get Kev's take on the weekend and close out. We finally got Vesper a GIF.
Hey.
She's obsessed with Ramsdale. She doesn't like catching the ball.
Well, she saves it, though.
She likes saving it.
Yeah.
And Matthew Hudson, thank you so much once again for putting together these
class
for us. You are absolutely epic and we so appreciate you. And he was watching Vesper's video and put this one together for us too. So if you can't get us to 500 likes right now, I don't know what to say. Kev, what's your overall take on the weekend? Your assessment now you've seen all of the teams and where we're going? Not only us, but also
everything, everybody.
It's going to be quite exciting.
Everybody, I think it's been a good start to the Premier League. We know it's the first day, week 1, and look, it's kind of gone. It's gone okay for us, definitely on the Friday night to set it all off. Look, the usual suspects usually flex their muscles. Liverpool was a surprise, tough game at Fulham. Fulham played them hard. Fulham, Liverpool obviously came back a couple of times, but we often said, if Fulham are going to do anything, they've got to get their main man going. And he played really well, didn't he? He played really, really well. Got a couple of goals and nearly won it for them. But again, Chelsea didn't look great. Everton looked all right. Missed the striker. Forest were a little naive at times.
Connor Cody's a good signing though, right, Kev,
Yeah,
for them?
of course. Yeah. Listen, Everton need defenders. I mean, when you look at Everton lost of 3 centre backs there, Everton lost 2 in the same game. You know, it's unfortunate, but you need player. The best ability is availability, and getting a Connor Cody in. You know, he's from Liverpool. I think he's a Liverpool fan, but doesn't matter.
Mhm.
Getting back to Merseyside, playing for the Blues, he'll be a good signing. Looking to really bolster that midfield, aren't they? With Onana and Idrissa Gueye supposed to be coming back to the club as well, so there's going to be plenty of competition in that midfield. Need a striker though, Soph. I've got to say, need a striker. Solomon Rondon is still out, but long term, he's not the answer. They need somebody, so they're going to be looking around, definitely looking for someone. But all in all, I think, you know, good to see Leeds get a win, Soph, I must say. Them come from behind against Wolves. Look, Leicester blew their lines, 2-0 up, and then drew 2 each. Brentford, so point shared. I can't wait for Leicester. Is Zidane in? Is Zidane in, by the way?
No, he hasn't showed his face.
Well, do you know what? He appeared on Curtis Shaw TV.
Oh, he did when you were on last week?
No, he put a comment on Curtis Shaw. I saw the comment. So he is still about. He's just keeping his nut down, Sophie.
He's keeping his nut down.
He's keeping his nut down. But so again, nothing doesn't happen until 5-6 games into the season. That's when the teams are fully fit. They're match fit then. But if you can get your points up until that point, you know, get good points up until that point, it can make a huge difference. Like we saw last season, we had to play catch up. If we could get these points in early, it will be really good for us moving forward.
Yeah, totally agree. And look, guys, there's a long way to go. It was fun to watch Haaland play with De Bruyne yesterday. You know, Darwin Núñez, his goal, Kevy tried it once, it failed. He did it again. That was quite the finish. That was sweet.
He was
Jesus,
lucky. He got lucky. So do you see it? He got
the
lucky.
Everton.
He tried it. He missed it. It hit Tosin on the leg, on the foot, hit his heel and went in. That's when you know you've got a bit of luck.
The audacity, though, to have that confidence to do it.
Listen, he's a quality player, Sophie. And to be honest, when he came on, he changed the game for Liverpool.
He did.
He really made a difference up there. And he's going to be a handful all season, Soph, that guy.
Yeah.
Núñez is a good player. And why he's on the bench, I don't know. But I don't think he'll be on the bench in the next game. No chance.
Not at all. Not at all. I have to say, I mean, Kulusevski, that cross for his goal, he's a good player, Kev. I don't see how Richarlison gets into that team. Sorry.
Well, look, Sophie, one thing we do know, we know the Spurs front three have got major quality. Kulusevski proved it last season. He's a handful. He's very, very good. And he's very direct, and he could deliver quality balls in the box. The fact of the matter is, you know, Son didn't get on the score sheet. You know, the Spurs, Southampton scored and woke them up.
They're going to be in trouble.
Southampton scored and woke Spurs up, and then Spurs just flexed their muscles and dispatched them. So, listen, they've got an interesting one this week because they play Chelsea at the Bridge. And, you know, Chelsea have an incredible record against Spurs. So that's going to be an interesting early season battle.
Yeah.
So, you know, we don't mind a draw in that one and we win. So there you go. The rivalry is still going.
Yeah, for sure. And don't be despondent. Jesus may not have scored, you guys, but my goodness, the impact he had on the game. If you want to hear Kev's take on his short form observations, go to Kevin Campbell on YouTube and you can hear it there. You can also listen to our post game show as well from Friday night. And go over to Kevin Campbell on YouTube because he'll be doing a lot of those little bits this season. Please subscribe, squaddies, because it's worth it. And of course, go over to the Gooners podcast as well, so you can book your seat for September 2nd. We're doing a live Q&A, and I will be in London for that as well, which is going to be absolutely amazing. And of course, the show wouldn't be complete without us talking about our good friends over at Zenith.
And
Uh,
Zenith coins, the main guys,
Get your
lovely.
Zenith coins. Our coins coming along real nice. We put the final touches on that over the weekend, and we're really excited about what is coming. It's going to be so collectible. There's a special certificate of authenticity on that one that you squaddies are going to want to have forever and ever. Are we at 400 likes? Is this true? Fine.
Somebody
Then I'll
put
show it.
420 before. So
I think that was Newman trying to get his art up
is he trying to get his
and his
art up?
little cohorts. All right,
Well,
here we
why,
go.
why wouldn't he just put 500? You're not putting his art up because you
Well,
said
I said
500.
I said
No,
400.
500.
No, I
500.
said
So
4. I said
500.
4.
I don't want to see his art.
Listen, I made a promise and I'm going to do it.
Yeah, but
But
I don't want to see his art. So if that's gonna get me out, I'll go out. Then you could show his art because I want to see Newman's art. I know what New's
wow.
art's like.
So you're leaving? This is
Well, are you
epic.
gonna put it up? Are you?
I am going to put it up because I said 400. This is
Oh,
an
go
actual
on then.
classic
Go on then.
Highbury Squad moment.
Hold on.
Look away, Casey. Okay,
Go
because
on.
we want
Yeah,
Kev
run me
has
the
to close
cows,
the
run me the cows. I know what's gonna
It's not as
happen
bad
here.
as usual. It says Virginia loves Newman. There's a coin on my head. There's coins everywhere. And Kev's bow tie looks like something from Mardi Gras. There's a Girls Gone Wild. It's actually, and I don't know what Sue Barker's doing there in the background.
He likes Sue Barker.
He's got
What's
such a
all this
crush
case
on
Sue must do better? You see, that's what I mean. That's why listen, Newman. That's why I don't like your art. Newman, I've got to say that's rubbish.
Do better,
Absolute,
Newman. How about you do
absolute,
better?
absolute garbage. I much prefer the one with Lee Judges on
Well,
than that
yeah.
rubbish.
Well, there was something pretty to look at. Well, there was something
Oh, curvy, yeah. There was
hourglass.
something curvy to look at least. Oh, the dodgy Kevin must do better. Do me a favour.
I don't know. He's coerced Gunnar Russ into all of this stuff as well. Mark, Matty K, they're all losing it. Trev, the whole gang.
Oh,
That's
God.
it, Kev. That's all we got for. We gave you a bumper edition on Monday Madness, radio style, 1 hour, 17 minutes in. Thank you so much for listening to the show. Thanks again to Flex. Check him out at Flex United and United View TV. And of course, the legend that is Super Kevin Campbell with us. Newman, do better on your art and try and improve. Thank you once again to Matthew Hudson for Vesper's little gift
Now
and
that's a bit
Vinny's
of art.
very
Look at this.
special.
Now that's a bit of
art.
quality. It's a bit of quality. Come on, Newman. You got to step your game up. Come on, or else you get dropped.
Oh, we'll be back tomorrow night live. I'll be here with Tiffany. You're not on tomorrow, are you, Kev? Are you on tomorrow?
No, I'm not on tomorrow,
Yeah, no.
unfortunately.
Kev's not on tomorrow, but we will be back live tomorrow. We've got Tiffany Campo from the Arsenal America group. So we're going to be talking a little bit of Arsenal, a little bit of the tour, and some insider information that you won't want to miss from everything that happened in the US. Plus, we'll give you all the latest news. And of course, you guys will be in chat to keep us company. Super Kev, take us out.
Okay, Hostess with a Moses, another great show. Well done. Well done for getting Flex on. Thought he was a really good guest. Squaddies, you know we salute you all the time. Tell your loved ones you love them. Enjoy your day, evening, afternoon, whatever it is. And never forget, Squaddies, don't look at Newman's art. Good night. At ease.
Mind the gap between the train and the platform. Please stand clear of the discussion doors. The next stop is Highbury Squad.
The Highbury Squad is powered by Zenith Coins. Support the future, treasure the past. Official licence partner of the Arsenal Football Club. Follow at Zenith Coins across all social platforms.